stance is that if you're going publicly or like in an area where you know people are gonna be, and COVID has been in that area or is currently in that area, you should have to wear a mask or at least stay 6 feet apart from people.
Well, 6 feet apart's kind of irrelevant. We're talking about masks.
Okay, yeah, I think you should do like the mask then. Either one's fine. I don't really care.
Okay, so you think it's a legal requirement, right?
Legal requirement?
Because
I think it's more morally justifiable.
What else does mandatory mean, right? As a mask mandate that like instantly like assumes it's a legal thing.
Well, when we talked about it yesterday, I didn't necessarily say the word mandate. I was just like masks. Like I think people should wear them. Like more, I think it's more morally justifiable.
No, I recall this, and that like I paid attention to what you said very clearly in that group chat. You said specifically mask mandate, so I like went into legal shit.
Do you have like proof of that? Because I'm not gonna like, because we both remember different things. It's not like I'm gonna sit here and like, oh, please go ahead and prove that. But do you have anything?
So does your argument like have any kind of data to support the like?
Did your mic cut out?
Does your argument have any like data to support the position?
Yeah, my argument does have data to back it up. Why?
So, and we're talking about like legal requirements or moral requirements.
I think you could tie them together, but in this case, I'm talking about
like which one do you think? Well, when we say like mandatory, right? Obviously, like with respect to what is it mandatory?
Okay, well, again, I just said it's more morally justifiable because again, I told you, as long as like you're going out and you know that people or COVID has been in your area, and you know that like you're going out to an area that'll have people in it, that'll be in like close proximity, I think it's more morally justifiable to wear a mask in that scenario. That's my stance.
Is that a universal or like a personal decision?
Well, I kind of gave you like a specified location, like an area that has had COVID, has COVID
That's
at the moment.
That doesn't at all answer my question.
What?
I'm asking if the idea
where it's like I answered your question.
No, I'm asking is the idea that like it should be mandatory in terms of whether we should or should not do that. Is that universal, meaning everyone should apply the standard, or is that a personal standard?
I did answer that by saying in certain areas if you know it's spreading. So it doesn't have to be. It's just like those areas.
Are you like I'm asking about the moral claim, not whether or not where you use it.
Yeah. Obviously, if it's in your area, then yeah, it's universal.
So it's a universal moral axiom.
That's not necessarily what I said. I said
if that's the question I'm asking.
Yeah, and I said if it's in your area. Yep, it's you should if it's in your area. That's my answer.
Okay, so you should if it's in your area.
As long as it doesn't like kill you to do so.
I should with, and this is like you might think I'm like playing semantics, but this is very important. I should with respect to your system of how you judge these things, or I should with respect to like some other system that's like universal in nature.
I think you should respect. Are you asking me like what we're trying to abide by, what I'm trying to apply?
Because the problem here is what you're mainly saying is, well, based on this or based on the idea, whatever your reasoning is going to be throughout this debate, I think that you should wear a mask in populated areas. And I'm saying, is that like a moral view, right? That's with respect to your personal system, right? Or with respect to some other kind of system that's like, I don't know, like moral realism or something, like utilitarianism.
Guys, Oppo's here. Can I pass it off?
He's not going to judge. Oppo's not going to judge.
Oppo, do you want to judge or do you care?
But he can if he wants to. He can if he wants to, but
that's his choice.
I'm trying to go shopping.
He can't even wait, Dio. He can't even talk. So
okay.
Oh shit.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't matter if he can talk.
Me and Oppo will judge recording.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, I think I'll just tell you like I'll just lay it down again. It's just in respect to like. It's in respect for other people's lives. That's like the best way to put it. Like you should try to preserve the lives of other people and also yourself, I guess.
Okay, you're listing a value, right?
Yeah.
You're listing a value that your moral or like your moral system coincides with.
Yeah.
Right. Now that doesn't tell me anything about like the foundation or the moral system you're using. Yeah.
What do you want me to tell you? Like what it's based off of? I don't know.
Is it based off of like some like utilitarian framework, some deontological one?
I don't know. I'll just tell you what it's like. I'll just tell you the basic idea of what it's based off of. I have no term for it.
Well, you can tell me the basic idea. I'm just saying that like Because, well, if you don't have a term for it or you can't adequately define it, then right now then I'm going to have to ask you a few more questions.
Okay,
because,
yeah.
like,
Well, I think I already defined it adequately. I just didn't put a term on it. I don't know what term is applicable. I don't do IRL.
you defined it, but like we're trying to see like what your
Your mic cut out.
definition coheres.
Oh, yeah. I know you're trying to see what my
You
definition.
gave me a base definition. But I'm trying to see what. Yeah, I'm trying to see what it applies to.
Oh,
Because, like,
yeah.
if
Well, then you do more IRL
give,
than me, Zaji.
because
So
I
if
can
you
give
go-
because I can give, for example, I can give a description of a square circle,
Mhm.
right? However, if I don't actually show anywhere in reality where this thing would exist or how this
Okay.
thing would exist or where we would like keep it, right? It has no meaning. It's just a blank definition. The same
Yeah.
thing can apply with moral statements like that. If you don't like, you can give me a description of it, but if we don't know where we can find it in reality or what we do with it, then that's
Okay.
like kind of the problem and issue, because
Yeah,
we're kind of like
that's analogous because the description of a square circle doesn't actually exist in real life. Are you saying that what I'm like using or describing doesn't exist in real life?
I'm a moral nihilist, so I don't
Can
believe.
you prove that you're a moral
morals.
nihilist? Boy, I don't know what you're aping.
I'm a moral nihilist in the sense that, like, well, you said that this was like a more or less a fucking, what's it called, like a moral debate, right?
Yeah, I told you I'm like gonna tie these things together, and I'm just gonna show you why people should most likely like, or more probably, just like you should just wear a mask in public. Like, if you're going out into an area where your people are, it's populated and COVID's currently spreading in the area, you should wear a mask to prevent like the spread of COVID,
Okay.
which could potentially kill.
Since you're not laying a foundation for that, I'm gonna assume that this is hold up. You know you're not laying a foundation because
Did I
you're
not just
saying
tell
that
you once?
you're saying what you think, right? You're saying
Uh-huh.
what you think should be the case, right? You're not telling me if what you think coincides with anything that exists in
I
reality.
don't think it has to have a term. Like, why does it have to have a term? I could just make one
It
right
does.
now.
I'm not saying it has to have a term. I'm just
Okay.
saying that I don't know foundational properties about this thing.
Okay, I don't care if you don't know it. I'll justify my idea to you without.
If I don't know it, then like no one else is going to know it either. And if that's the case, then I don't know if this is something that you just personally believe. And if that's the case, if this is just something you personally believe, or like you can't justify why I should believe this thing.
Wait, that presupposes that I've given my reasoning already. By the way, I haven't. I'm going to.
So that's what I'm asking for.
Yeah. Wait. When you were asking for a foundation, I thought that was in reference to you asking for a term to make it to apply it to.
You don't.
I told you I don't have it. Wait, Zaji. I'm letting you, yeah, I don't have a term to apply it to, but I do. However, I can give you reasoning. That's like if you think foundation is reasoning, then I can give you reasoning.
I said very specifically you don't have to give a term, but that in order, if you're not going to adequately define it with the term, I'm going to have to ask you some questions to see what it applies to.
I think your question's just now asking me reasoning, right? I can give you reasoning.
Okay, now hold up. The first question that I have to ask, is this universal in the sense that this coincides with objective features of the world in the terms of whether we should or should not do this? Does this presuppose like moral realism at all?
Okay, you already asked me this question about like whether or not it's universal, and I already told you if there is the prerequisite that I've laid down in that area, then yes.
Yeah.
Unless it kills you, unless it harms you in some sort of way, that could harm you worse than or the potential of COVID. Unless it does that, yeah.
Yeah. So why should I accept that?
Okay, I'm gonna give you reasoning for that. Are you done asking me your questions for my prerequisite though?
For now, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll get into my reasoning. Do you think death is bad?
Depends on the context.
What do you mean? The context of death?
Situation, like obviously, if like D1's like gonna run me over with his car, I'm gonna want to kill his ass.
Yeah. I'm talking about the conclusion of death though, so I don't think that's contextual. The conclusion of death is all the same.
I even think that there are some conclusions of death that I would actually like. If you're meaning like the idea of it itself, I don't know if I actually think there's nothing like objectively bad about it. I mean, I don't it personally, but like
okay. So here, I'll lay out a bigger foundation for you. So by the conclusion of death, I mean whatever happens post it, not the reason for or the cause of it, right?
The conclusion of so the conclusion, you mean like the prerequisites, not the conclusion.
Like, okay.
Because
for example, like
what you're talking about is how you get to the conclusion, but that's not the conclusion.
No. So okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say you die because an alligator bit your balls off and you die from so much pain, right? If you die from that, yeah, that's like the cause. I'm talking about the death itself. Like, do you think that part's bad? Not the cause.
I already answered that. I don't think, like, I personally don't prefer it, but, like, I don't know if there's any objective thing that makes it or defines it as bad. What does bad even mean?
Negative. Like in a bad sense, it'll take away from.
And I'm not trying to be, like, rat with that. That's a very, like, I need to know what you mean by bad, because, like,
Okay.
in order for me, because there has to be with respect to what, because obviously, like, like 2 + 2 = 5 is not
Yeah.
bad in the same sense as, like, someone, like,
Yeah.
walking.
I think I
Yeah.
gave you that. I gave you like what it was, right? I told you that bad would be like taking away from. So for example, if I like, I'll give a better example. If someone like Bill Gates, who had money, who hasn't written his will yet, is going to give away to charity, but he dies, that would be taking away from. Correct? That's what
Can you restate the example again? I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's say Bill Gates, who has a lot of money, as we know, right, is about to give his money away to charity, but hasn't written his will yet to give it away to said charity, right? The government
Mm-hmm.
would get to claim it then, and the kids who actually need it wouldn't get it. That's taking away from. His death just took away from something, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying the possibility of that could be applicable to anybody who hasn't, for example, written their will, hasn't gotten their kids to a decent enough spot to grow up and contribute back to society, anything like that. The possibility of COVID killing one of those people exists. The possibility of those people existing in those areas exists, right? So therefore, if that possibility exists, you should be wearing a mask because of it, because it could kill you. That's it.
Well, I don't see any reason why I should personally accept that, because I also don't do things that would, like, have the potential or possibility to kill others. For example, if I, like, have, like, untied shoelaces, I don't think it's an immoral thing for me to go walking around just because there's the possibility for me to, like, hurt someone else or, like,
Okay,
kill
why?
someone else.
So why?
Because, like, I could probably on, like, are you asking me for a personal level? Because I could,
No, I'm
like,
asking you for like some sort of justification because I think I gave you decent reasoning at least, or reasoning that was accepted. Hold on. I think I gave you reasoning or reasoning that was accepted on some level at least as to why the possibility of someone dying in this case, like Bill Gates or someone else like that, who could contribute back to society, dying is like, negative in some aspects. So I want
how, like,
justification for your stance.
I, like, understood your, like, position. I don't necessarily think I accepted it. However, I will say that, like, the reason being on a personal level, for one, the justification is intuitional, right? I don't necessarily believe I have to justify the positions that I hold because I'm not the one making an
Why
affirmative.
do I have to accept that then as justification, like intuitional justification? Why do I have to accept that?
What do you take as justification?
Reasoning backed up by some sort of evidence, some sort of data, something like that.
Is an intuition not a reason?
No, I just said reasoning that's backed up by data. So
Like,
statistics that pertain to the real world.
So wait, you don't wait. Intuitions are necessarily like dependent on the real world. Otherwise, they wouldn't be intuition.
You're strawmanning me. Then I said based off data. It's predicated around data. I didn't say specifically only things that exist in the real world. Then you could reason why it's huh?
Do you think, like, when someone makes a sentence and they're using linguistics, that you assume what they say based on data analysis or an intuition that you believe that
you already said it was predicated around intuitional reasoning, and then I said I won't accept that, and then we already made the distinction between actual statistics and intuition.
Why should I care what you accept?
What do you mean? Because your defeater to what I just said was that you didn't accept it, correct? This is a moral
What
debate.
makes you think, like, and this is the reason that I asked you, right, whether or not it was universal or personal, because like I don't necessarily, just because like you accept or think something should be applied, you could believe something could be applied and have actual data analysis to support the claim. However, like I don't necessarily see, because we didn't go into this debate like presupposing like what's like more like what brings more utility to society, right? So for an example, you like could bring up like a reason that like switching to crypto would be good for the economy, and I could just say I don't like it on a personal like level and just based off of intuitions.
Yeah, you know the issue with that?
What?
At least in this case, I think it'll come across to the judge, whoever goes over this, that I've given reasoning backed up by data, and then you've just given something that's intuitional. And if this is a moral debate, like we said, and I already told you like the prerequisites that I laid down and fulfilled them for the specific people that it's applicable to, or that my premise was supposed to make it applicable to, then I don't really care if you just deny it on a personal level, right? Because I've given you a metric, I fulfilled my metric in my opinion, and then you just deny it with something that's not backed up by anything. I think that's just Hitchens razor. That's me saying
no. For when
wait,
say,
one
okay.
second. One second.
Oh my god.
My bad. Yeah, you try to like say it's true by verifying your own experience with it, But the issue with that would be
Mhm.
if I just say, oh, okay, here's a cat, and my point's like dependent on me proving it's a cat, and then I say, oh, okay, yeah, it's a cat because I verified my own experience. I don't necessarily have to accept that because it might not be true. Could be clouded by your own incredulity.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Now may I go like speak now?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. Now when you're saying that, oh well, the judge might necessarily believe what I said because I gave reasoning to back it up. Well, you gave reasoning that goes in favor to a certain type of like idea. Would that be in utility? Of course, you're arguing that like, well, it would be better for society, or like less people would die, or I think that would be bad. Sure, you could be like saying that like, you'd be basically telling the judge, hey, judge. I proved that my position has like a utility and like is accurate like with respect to some moral system. However, you're not actually justifying the use of that moral system on a universal level, right? The problem with that is that I could say that my positions are backed up in reference to my own like intuitions, right? And I gave justification based on them because I would like assume that everything on a personal level, right, is intuitional to like its very foundation, like language, for instance. I don't think that I look at the data and statistics on how likely this person is to use this word in a certain context, right? To assume that what they're saying fits that context. I just have an intuition that they're doing it, right?
Okay.
Like you saying that, like I hold on, you saying that, like, well, I appealed to this certain criteria that the judge may agree upon. I could also say the same thing.
Okay, yeah. So then again, if my metric has been backed up by reasoning, and then it goes to the judge, and you asked me to fulfill something that was universal, I remember when you asked me the question of is it universal or not, when it was like applying to my prerequisite, and I told you, if COVID is spreading in your area, then yes, and I think I already made it applicable to people who have COVID in their area based off the potential of certain people or certain figures in this world dying. So this is all just based off real world knowledge, real world statistics, and then you just try to deny that by your own intuition. So again, if you don't give justification for that intuition, I don't care.
Um, Intuitions are unjustifiable by their very nature. But
Okay.
like hold up, like the thing mainly here is right. Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by justification, because I guess some intuitions could be justified, or I guess all intuitions would be justified again, depending on your definition. But the main point that I'm trying to say is like you saying like when you said, yeah, I agree, it's universal. I mean, you can say, yeah, you think it's universal. You're not justifying why this thing is universal. You could like ask me why I like, do I think ice cream tastes like vanilla, right? Or like, do I think the ice cream tastes like vanilla? Me saying yes is just me stating my opinion on the matter. It's not giving a proper justification or
I
reason
think
for
that's
it.
disanalogous.
No, it is not. How?
Yeah, I can explain why. That thing didn't need justification in that case. I think this one does, though, because we're in a debate where our ideas are being shared between each other, right? And you proving that, unless you were debating on whether vanilla ice cream tasted like vanilla ice cream, it wouldn't be applicable in this case, because I don't need you to prove that, but I do need you to prove this because you're trying to debunk something with your own intuition that hasn't been verified. That's all.
What am I trying? Wait, what am I trying to? Okay, this is why I think you don't know what you're talking about in this given instance. What am I trying to debunk?
Yeah, were you not contending my stance by saying it was like your reasoning was intuitional? If you're not, then you can
I'm.
just say that.
I no. I never said I was contending the stance. I was saying
Okay.
that like. I was saying that I have no personal reason to it. I could actually agree, right, that everything you're saying has a utility basis for it,
Okay.
right, and accept the idea that it would probably be better for society. However,
Mhm.
in terms of the debate format, I could also say that based on a certain like intuition or like personal belief, like moral nihilism, which others like also could coincide to, it wouldn't matter to them. Now, if you want to argue or you want to talk about statistics and analysis, you could show me individual. We could like go over data. I mean, I'm not like a huge, not a huge data analysis like I've taken college statistics, but I know a little bit. We could go over some data points and see how like they were
Mhm.
conducted. If you want to appeal to data,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
So
sure like let's look at some data then.
yeah. So I'm gonna go over this first, and then we can do that if we even need to. Because
But by
so
the way,
basically, what's
before
up?
we go into data, I think it's like clear and like I think we have to like stop like go over the meta
Yeah,
points
I'm
of
gonna say
code.
one more thing. I'm gonna say one more thing for this point, and then we could go into data if needed.
All right.
Okay. So basically, just to wrap up what I was saying during that point, and to contend your last point, if you're not going to contend the stance, and we're debating, if I just state something, it would stand. It would stand to be true if it goes uncontended, especially in like a debate like this, where I've justified my side with reasoning. and you've just tried to deny it with an unverified experience of yours. I think all of your analogies got shut down by the
What
fact
does that mean?
What do you mean?
What
You
does
tried to verify it with
unverified
your own
experience
experience.
mean?
Yeah, you tried to use your own experience to verify or unverify something in this case, but it didn't work because you didn't justify it. That's what I said.
That experience. Wait, is experience not inherently justifiable?
You already went over this, right? Where I'm just like saying it's parallel to
No,
intuition in this case,
we
and you
didn't.
didn't justify it.
No, we didn't. We went over like intuitions, and you gave like a certain type of like justification, right?
Okay,
But
yeah.
like, I think that the justification you're giving doesn't have to apply in every context.
Well, I only wait. That actually fits in perfectly with my premise because my premise was only applicable to certain contexts. My premise is only applicable to areas that have COVID, that's spreading at this moment. There might be some areas out there that we don't know about that COVID isn't rapidly spreading in at the time, right? So in this moment of time, if there are areas that have COVID widespreading in their respective place, then they should wear masks. They should be inclined to wear masks. That's what the premise was. So you're right about that. It doesn't apply with every single context because it doesn't need to be in every.
I'm not talking about like when I say context, I'm not even talking about like your premise in general. I'm talking about the nature of it in terms of like a reason basis, right? When I say it doesn't apply to every context, I'm saying your position and its definition of justification doesn't have to necessarily like apply to every context in terms of like what a moral, like someone else's moral belief has to be, or what other like cities might necessarily agree with what's like right or wrong, right?
Yeah, I don't care if they agreed. I've just reasoned otherwise.
And I can just say that I don't care about yours.
Okay, yeah, mine's justified. Yours is unjustified. That's what it all boils down to.
Wait, hold on. How is mine unjustified?
Justified by my metric, by the way, like statistics and whatnot.
Okay, I could just say I have a personal metric for justification, and via that more personal metric of justification, yours is unjustified and mine is.
Okay, can you prove that yours is applicable over mine in this scenario? Because your argument presupposes that.
How do you measure that?
Yeah, well, that's kind of your burden. That's kind of your fault for saying that idiotic sentence. So prove that.
Wait, I never, I never argued that like one is necessarily.
Yeah, you
more.
presupposed
You're
it,
the
though.
one. You're the one like placing. Basically, right? If you're gonna like, I could be agnostic on the position, right? But if you want to argue, hold up. If you want to place that burden, right? And even if I agreed that I couldn't demonstrate that, how could you demonstrate that yours is more applicable?
Well, that's avoiding the issue because the issue at hand is the presupposition that you placed on yourself. That's not my problem.
No, that is not the no.
Yes,
It directly.
Yes,
no,
it
it
is.
directly
You doing that is
addresses
just avoiding
the
the issue.
It directly addresses the issue.
How?
Right?
The issue at hand is whether you're whether or not you're presupposing
trying
something.
to like necessarily oppose on me can also apply to your position in a given context too.
Yeah. So again, that would be fine if you had brought it up initially, but I already brought mine up, so we'll be avoiding the issue if you don't go over yours, unless you want to admit that your stance is unjustifiable, and then you can go on to me, because it would be avoiding the issue for you to do so, to do otherwise.
Okay, Judge. I just want you guys to like analyze what he said and think about it very clearly. He said, yes, it could, but the issue is I brought it up first. Right?
Yeah, you did.
Hold on. So you acknowledge it. Hold on. If I can demonstrate via a linguistic standpoint, right, that both of our things and the problem that you raised can apply to both of us, and you're like addressing it. Hold on. And you're addressing this as a problem, then as a result of you addressing this as a problem and you agreeing that it also like can apply to your position too,
that's a straw
it doesn't
man.
matter. Hold up.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Does not matter who brought it up first because the issue the paradox can still reflect to both.
Yeah, no, that's not true. First off, I admit that it would be possible for it to apply to me, not that it is applicable to me. So you'd have to prove that it is still. You have to actualize that. Second of all, you already went over the fact that you already admit the fact that you have that burden placed on you first. And if you don't fulfill that burden, you can either concede your point or you can move on. You can do one of the two.
Wait, hold on. Okay, wait. How do I prove that the burden for one? I think I already properly addressed like what.
No, you didn't. You didn't admit that you.
Hold on. Yeah. We can leave that up to the judge.
You said you couldn't justify.
Hold on. We can leave. Yeah. We can leave that up to the judge. Right?
Yeah, you got that. I hope it's in the record.
So now hold up. I'm gonna already like address this little like fucking pseudo point that you tried to like.
Can you prove it still? Wait.
Yeah. Hold on.
No. Hold on. You're not gonna move past that.
Yeah. Anyway, hold on.
Hold on. That presupposes it's pseudo.
Basically,